Shazam! So Shazam is a movie made by comedians. And it was the right move, given this source material. Playing it straight would have no doubt led to a disaster. But here we have a superhero who I'd never heard of before, and is supposedly a critique on the Superman mythos. Who knows if I even got that right? I'm just going off the vibe the movie gave me. Like, there's this whole rights issue between Captain Marvel and Shazam and Miss Marvel in the comics, apparently, or maybe they're the same person, or the names are interchangeable. I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. There was that article on IO9. Let's see. Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Shazam clusterfuck explained. All right, let's blah, 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 blah. So Captain Marvel was a dude, I think, at first, 80 years ago, and then people know him as Shazam. But Billy Batson is the one true Captain Marvel. What is this? Okay, so there's a rights issue. So Marvel Comics has the rights to the name Captain Marvel. The DC licensed the character. Oh, right, because Shazam is DC. They had the name Captain Marvel, but couldn't call the comic Captain Marvel, so they used his transformation cry Shazam for the title. Huh? So you couldn't call it Captain Marvel, even though the character's name was Captain Marvel, but he was called Shazam. Okay. I'm even more confused. I don't know what the hell's going on. But Carol Danvers is Miss Marvel, I guess? But now she's Captain Marvel. I don't understand. I don't get it. Who the fuck cares? Whatever. We're talking about Shazam. Alright, we already talked about Captain Marvel in another review. I liked that movie too. And, I kind of like this movie. I think. Billy Batson's transformative state and powers mark a goofy-sided Superman, with Freddy in the movie making every possible notice of such. I wonder, is this a play on the idea that Superman is the adult in a room full of children? You know how he always has to constantly restrain his almost infinite godlike powers to save humanity around him? Because if he ever used it all, he might kill everybody. Now, we have a room full of children who can turn into their own Superman. Comes full circle, eh? I have no idea what I'm talking about. The movie opens stupidly in a car ride with a young boy. His name is Thad, and his older brother and father. The kid is playing with a magic 8-ball, when suddenly, he's transported to a dark, cavernous realm. An old man, Jaimin again, is he in every superhero movie now? Approaches him. His gray beard is kind of a bushy joke. He wields a long wooden staff. There's magic all around. He tells the kid he's a wizard, the last of a dying council, looking for one pure of heart to become his successor as champion, to stop the 7 deadly sins from rampaging the world. He puts Thad to the test, and tempts him with the dark magics of the sins. Thad reaches for it, and in doing so fails. He's sent back to the normal realm on Earth, but how he wants to go back. How he wants those dark magic powers after being told he wasn't good enough by the wizard. Guess who the bad guy is? Now to present day. Billy Batson is a 14-year-old kid running from foster home to foster home. He doesn't believe in family. A brief flashback shows how he wandered away from his mother at the fair when he was a baby, and could never find her again. He locks up the local police for a moment in a shop, to quickly search his mother's name in the system in their car. He's been searching for her his whole life. He is obviously caught. Thrown back into the foster ring, he's set up with a new couple who altruistically takes in multiple kids as their own. There's Eugene, who takes gaming too seriously. Darla with attachment issues. Mary the college-bound. Pedro, who barely talks. And Freddy, the self-deprecating cripple. Freddy walks with a crutch and makes extremely dark jokes, many at his own expense. Yes, him and Billy will be the heart of the film. Back to the bad guy. He's useless. Grown up now. It's Mark Strong, still holding that magic 8-ball. He figures a way to portal back to the realm with the wizard, except this time he goes straight for the dark magic of the sins. Jaimin is fucked. An encounter with some bullies has Billy on the run on the metro. The lights flash on and off, the people around him disappear, and those strange symbols that appeared before Thad appear on the electronic screens. Billy is in the realm now. Jaimin has no time to test him. He grants him the powers of the champion. To get them, he tells Billy to speak his name. Billy's like, "We just met, I don't know your name." "Shazam," the wizard replies. "Wait, really, that's your name?" Billy laughs. "Say it!" One of the best moments in the movie. So it goes like this. Billy says, "Shazam!" and turns into Zachary Levi, a fully grown and buff adult man, but still with his 14-year-old mind as Billy. He has super strength, super speed, bullet immunity, and can shoot lightning from his hands, among other things. The movie has its most fun as Billy and Freddy figure out what he can and cannot do. I think Zachary Levi was a great choice for the role. He plays believably as an adult with the mind of a kid, hilariously struggling to hone his unique powers. And I liked Asher Angel as Billy all the while, giving a wonderful performance as a kid with no home, but not as immature as a bad portrayal of the role would go. Jack Dylan Grazer's Freddy is more aware of things than he should be. But in a comedy, that works perfectly. I think these are all really good choices. In a movie that in the end is just a goofy origin story. Shazam is a silly movie, with a dumb throwaway villain, but a good lead and good humor throughout. The movie does drag painfully in its third act a bit, and just goes on way too long for its own good. But I liked most of it, I think. There's big laugh-out-loud moments for most of the runtime, and an encounter between Billy and the bad guy in the mall just had me laughing non-stop. And a cowardly Santa Claus who fits in perfectly. Those 7 deadly sins manifest themselves as monsters. They're all dumb. They look dumb and they are pointless. More useless villains that I wished weren't even in the film. And was it just me, or was the frame rate turned up awkwardly at certain points in the movie? Mostly in the opening, but then even in later sequences? Like, it was really awkward. It was just kind of... the way they were moving at certain points was like, what the fuck? Whatever. The friendship formed between Billy and Freddy works, though the story has to mostly omit the other children in the family he lives with. And it's a credit to these kid actors that they pulled off something believable in a movie this ridiculous, and that the movie's humor is mostly great, and how after a crushing reveal, Billy Batson has to walk away from something he's always chased. And a final joke before the end credits that is 100% genius. Fucking incredible. Oh, that was an incredible joke. The DC films have finally started to get better. Except for Aquaman, which is one of the worst movies made in recent years. And really, all of these films are inconsequential in the face of something like Endgame. And as we all count down to the sequel to the greatest movie of our time, do I really care about a kid who yells Shazam to get his powers? It's an okay movie. It's a pretty solid film. I think it's hilarious that Mark Strong and Zachary Levi flying around like, Superman and Zod, they looked better, more believable, and had the few fighting action sequences were way better than Man of Steel's. Man of shit. That movie was so fucking bad. One of the worst movies ever made, but it's just funny. I know this movie's 6 years later, but everything looked way better with them flying around. They couldn't even get that right in that Superman movie. And it's like this was a better Superman movie than Man of Steel. Shazam's a better Superman movie than Man of Steel. Hilarious. Hilarious. Fuck that movie. Oh my god, Endgame's in 3 days. Oh my fucking god. But yeah, I think I liked it. I didn't have to see it. I didn't need to see it. I don't think it's a movie you must see, but if you end up seeing it, I think you'll like it. It's funny. It's pretty solid. Silly origin story. They took the right approach with not taking anything seriously, making it a almost pure comedy. The great move. Just like Spider-Man Homecoming kind of did. Very funny. Good move, guys.